Hello, I'm Tara Rayburn, the virtual meeting concierge, and I am here with you live for some, later for others. And I have committed to doing a weekly series, basically, kind of sharing what I'm learning working with folks. To tell you a little bit about what I do is I help people, I support people in mostly Zoom virtual meetings, and it's a blast. And if you're watching this, just for a context, I'm recording this in spring of 2020. And if you don't remember what's going on, or it's been so long and I guess, have forgotten it, I don't know if any of us are going to ever forget this. However, we are dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. And I say crisis because however you look at it, it's been just a real challenge. And so what's happened is people who normally would just be meeting in groups, for their work or for school or for just, socializing, are being asked to go virtually. And the biggest platform at this time has been Zoom. And it's a great platform. I really enjoy it. I know there's some others that are up and coming, but Zoom has been just really great to work with. I don't get paid by Zoom, so just making clear that. But I work with it with clients in so many different ways, and it's been so easy to use, and they're constantly upgrading and they're constantly putting training out. So I focus mostly on Zoom, but some of the principles, I'm going to call them 3 tips and the truth. That's what I'm going to start doing just every week, giving you 3 quick tips and the truth. And I think virtual meetings are here to stay. And I believe that, while we'll go back to having physical meetings and things like that, I think so many people are global. So many people work just in remotely, and it's much easier to do virtual meetings. But what I am learning is there's simple principles, 3 tips and the truth. There's simple principles that, bottom line, work whatever platform you're on. They're really just things with my radio and television background and just years of doing lots of online and live events. I've just learned a few things, and I'd love to share that because it can make a big difference in how you're coming across in your meeting. Even if you're not the host, it's really important to pay attention to these things, because it's just like you wouldn't go into a meeting dressed inappropriately, I hope. You don't want to show up to a Zoom or any kind of virtual meeting and look, I don't know, less than. You want to put your best foot forward. And so that's what I'm here to share. And anyway, so let's get started. 3 tips and the truth. I know we're live on YouTube, so YouTube, shout out, but I will edit later, trust me. So first tip, really the focus today, I just realized this is funny. The focus is camera work, or camera, period. And I just realized I needed to kind of share a little bit why I'm wearing this huge headset. I like headsets. I have a much smaller one, but I feel like the mic is much better on this one. In fact, I should probably put it up a little bit higher. And because, much like you, I am working at home, there's a lot of ambient noise. There's people coming and going, hopefully people I know, dogs, got lots of dogs. In fact, one of them sitting down there. And so I have a lot of ambient noise, and this helps me to stay focused on you, which is what I'm supposed to be doing, or the meetings that I'm helping people with when we're in there and I'm a Zoom jockey. Okay, first tip, camera. Positioning. Positioning. I don't care how good of a camera you have. I don't care how many cameras you have. Positioning is very important. And I'm just going to kind of go through a couple of things. I can't turn like I'd like to, but positioning, point number 1, it is very important to, at the very least, have your camera somewhat eye level. And I see a lot of people who put their computers, and I'm going to just go ahead and move. They put their computers on their desk, and you see this. You see they get a halo, a beanie sometimes, or even worse, not worse, but you see this, and they stay the whole time. Now, if I were hosting a meeting, I would either message the person if they're on camera, even in the background, in the galley, I would message them and say, hey, can you move your camera so we can see your wonderful face? And it makes a big difference to just see the whole person. The opposite direction is headspace. Let's say you've got a person and they've got either too much headspace, you know, they're in the picture, but too much. It's kind of off. You kind of want to give a nice little in between if you can. And I honestly, I like to stand. My big meetings, like yesterday, we had conferences all day long. And you talk about Zoom jockeying, it was at its best. I felt like this ninja, but I stood a lot of the time because I have more energy speaking, and I had to man a couple different computers and cameras and things. So it was much easier. But either way, the principle's still the same. You don't want to have too little, you don't want to have too much headroom. And you also, you know, sometimes people don't realize that, you know, they're cutting off the top of their head or something like that. So just place it. Honestly, if you could see what I've got my computer stacked on right now, I've got it on a stack of really old, big albums, because I can control how high it's going to be, if I'm going to sit or I'm going to stand in my meeting or do both. So positioning, you want to have just enough headroom, and you want it to be higher. For those of you who are like fine wines and aging a little bit, it's really important, because if you have down below, you're kind of getting it's not a compliment. It's just not, even if you're yelling and looking like something creepy. And you know, I'm glad I did this. I was doing my morning time earlier, and I had this lamp on, and I left it on, and I'm glad I did, because right now that's not a big deal. But if I were sitting in a different position, if my camera were lower, you'd be seeing the light bulb back here. You would see, I don't know if I can turn this so you can see it, but you would see a real bright light, and that would be very irritating if you're, yeah, even the secondary light. So if I'm doing a presentation here and people are looking at me, but there's this really bright thing drawing attention behind me, no good, no good. So you want to make sure you don't have a light shining at the camera behind you, really, and that'll be a topic for another time, but you don't want things distracting behind you. Right now I have a little more than I normally would behind me. Usually it's a closer shot, and I may be sitting in that chair, but lighting, let's stay on that topic, because I could talk about so many things. So lighting, right now I have mostly ambient light, meaning lighting from outside. It's in front of me coming this way. I cannot tell you how many people think it's a great idea to sit in front of a mirror, not a mirror, a window. And basically, let me see if I can do this without dropping. No, I'm not. Yeah, I should. I think it's worth doing. So if I lose you, I'll just like relog in or something. I've got my stack up here, but I want you to see what it looks like when I turn the other way. I got too many cables. I don't like going Bluetooth. I'm sorry, I don't. Oh, you get to see my mom's painting this way. Okay, so look at that. Yeah, you can kind of see in the back. And this isn't too bad because I've got a light right above me, but really that's not ideal. You know, when I was in school, a radio television major, we learned how different campaign ads could tweak what the opponent looked like by turning the lighting, making them look darker and sinister. So if you're in a meeting and you're trying to put your best foot forward, even if you're just attending, if you're on camera, I really encourage you to not try to put something pretty in the background that's a window, but to go opposite, like my friend Dan Burris always says, go opposite, and have the lighting on you. And it's much more pleasing. It just is. And regardless, I don't like being on camera. Trust me, I don't. But I certainly want to put my best foot forward when I am on camera. So having that lighting, having it coming, if you really want to get crazy, I know someone yesterday who was putting together a video studio to start doing like keynote presentations from his home. And he has like beautiful, I mean, he's got like 5 lighting pieces of different types of lighting from above, down below. Honestly, you don't have to go crazy like that unless you're doing some specific things professionally, then you do. And so all that to say, I think lighting, we've kind of covered the gist of it. You don't want anything distracting. And even like right now, the ambient lighting is starting to make it too bright back there. So certain times of day, I actually move and I prefer the ambient lighting. This room is so good though, the way its natural lighting is. Even at night when I turn all the lights on, it still looks pretty decent. It's a little grainy, but it still looks pretty decent. So 3 tips. We got the camera positioning, where to look, and we got lighting. And by the way, lighting, you can get away with a lot. My camera is the camera in my computer. It's a MacBook Pro. It's not super professional, but you know what? It looks pretty decent. You know, I'm not the one that's usually on camera. I'm usually the one that's supporting the people in the meeting. So sometimes my picture is just up or my logo is just up, Virtual Meeting Concierge. So truth, let's go to the truth. Right now it is May, what is it? We just May 13th. And we, you know, some states are opening up, some are not, but you know, again, I think virtual meetings are here to stay. And I encourage you, I've been working with several different types of businesses, and they are people who really focus, and their livelihood is live interaction, live meetings. They're trainers, they're speakers, they're, you know, what they do is in person. And so what I've encouraged is to jump in. And it's hard because a lot of these people have a high level of expertise and they want it to be just perfect the first time. But the truth is, right now, spring 2020, people are very forgiving. Meaning, I mean, I've seen professional speakers that do these type of online events all the time, and they're having issues. So people are forgiving. So jump in, do it. Learn from your mistakes. You know, part of just my calling, I wasn't looking to start a new business, but what I saw is people needed support in their rooms because they didn't know how. They're teaching or speaking or doing whatever they're doing. They don't want to be a room jockey, letting people into the Zoom room or manning the chat rooms or switching cameras. So, you know, that's why I just saw the need and I jumped in. Thanks to my friend Dan Burris, again, burrisresearch.com or danburris.com. You look him up, you'll find him. But he really encouraged that this was a good idea, and it's helping people at a time when people are really don't know what to expect. So people are forgiving. So jump in. You know, get support. Have a friend train. You know, have a friend train with you. You can train with me too. That's part of what I do is Zoom coaching as well, and make it happen. Do something significant. Jump into a new area. If you are a business person, you have customers, you have people that you're in relationship with. Think outside the box. Maybe what you can do right now is do just a little weekly message like I'm doing on, you know, if you're a hairstylist, well, teach those of us who are horrible at doing our own hair how to do that. You know, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. And so while people are forgiving because they're not going to be forever, meaning, you know, if you have technical difficulties or glitches. Yesterday we had technical glitches, we had people glitches, we had everything that hit us, and we just kept moving. I mean, I swear it was like ninja moving. And we you know, said apologize to our attendees, but we also all realize this is new territory and our tools are changing every day, and the demands on us are changing every day. And so simply jump in, smile, provide significance. You know, if you are selling something, be aware that how you sell and how you do business during these times are going to be remembered. If you're always in someone's face selling, or if your setting, your camera works makes you look less than trustworthy, think about that. You know, think about that. Take some of these tips to heart, and don't worry about it. You don't have to be this slick professional lighting. Don't go out and buy all the bells and whistles. You know, I know this looks expensive. It wasn't. And I actually use one I've had for years. It's like a little, I used to use with a Walkman, I think. I'm really dating myself now. So all that to say, jump in. If you have on your heart a way to give significance right now through meetings, through Zooms, through whether it's you have people attending, or like right now on Zoom, I didn't invite anybody because I wanted a chance to be able to edit and make sure I get the flow of what I'm doing, but I'm going to put it up, warts and all. I mean, there's things I would edit out, but nah, why not? Put it out there. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was supportive to you. And I will be here weekly doing virtually simple strategies. And it's 3 tips and the truth. So with that, Tara Rayburn, Virtual Meeting Concierge, signing off. Have a great day. Take care.